Hey, good morning for office hours for February 12th, 2023. Happy New Year. I'm not sure if that still applies in February, but maybe for the Chinese New Year. Happy, what is it, Rabbit? Lucky, it's a lucky year for everyone, I think. Hey, George. Hey, I wanted to send you this link right here. Put that in the chat and click on that. Cool. So let's start off today with a little bit of higher wisdom. And today is increase. Powerful improvements are underway. The coming of the hexagram E signifies a period of increase when the power of heaven descends to surround and invigorate our lives. Like all phases, this too will come to an end, but if we make hay while the sun shines, tremendous progress can be made at this time. It is in the nature of human beings to relax and become careless when things begin to go well. The I Ching teaches us that we should not do this if we desire the fullest blessing of the beneficial hour. Indeed, our rewards are multiplied if we increase our conscientiousness in auspicious times rather than decrease it. There are two ways which the I Ching especially advises us to do this. Our first task is to make sacrifices for others. In all of your interactions now, embody generosity in thought, action. Forgive what is inferior in others and seek out the good. By giving, encouraging, and assisting, you will draw the superior person in everyone into devoted action. Your second task in this time of increase is to go on strengthening yourself as thunder and wind strengthen each other. This means that if you see something good in another, you imitate it. And when you discover something inferior in yourself, you eliminate it. These simple practices, if continued conscientiously over time, will improve your character and fortunes immeasurably. Through service and self-improvement, you assure yourself of great progress in the days ahead. Well, that's always a good one to get. Making hay while the sun shines, or putting in a weir during a drought. Although now the Makahiki rains have returned. So anyway. So what's up, everybody? Hey, Stonemason. Hey, everybody. If anybody, I did put a link in the chat. And that is, I was going to start with George today, kind of getting this together. Basically, it's a Zoom link. I think if you click on it, it should be in there. And then, I think we can talk to each other through this. I may have to configure a few other things, but anyway, that's what I wanted to get up to today. In the meantime, what's up, everybody from all over? I still do have, let's see, screen there. I still do have, maybe I should flip myself around. I still do have the nutrient cycle. Solar Gourmet is actually asking a question about the KNF medicine, and asking if it's necessary to make 5 extractions. Let me go to... Yeah, so do you have to make 5 extractions of the OHN? And the answer is no. You could stop earlier, but if you do all 5 and you store them, the longer you store them, the more potent they get. So your first time making the medicine, if you make 5 gallons worth and you just store them for many years to come, you will have something that's getting stronger over time. So it kind of makes sense to go through all 5 pour-offs and keep them just stored and make more volume, even if you think you have a small garden and you won't use that much. I always find in my personal practice that I do use a whole bunch of it, and that that's just how it goes. So if you make all 5 pour-offs and go through it, you may as well for the cost of your herbs. I know the vodka's kind of pricey, but by the time you're done making it all and you have all individually stored, like a whole garlic being stored here, ginger, and then you can mix them later as you need into OHN itself. Then having a, at least a 2-gallon, 5-gallon bucket pour off. 2-gallon bucket's what you'll need for most cases, but I have so much I use 5-gallon buckets for my pour offs. I think when it's all combined back together, you do end up with about 5 gallons of complete mixed solution if you follow the recipe. So if you're not going to do all 5, there's no need to, but otherwise you do. So nutritional cycle from Master Cho. Last week we went over plant juice. So nutritional cycle of natural farming, the nutritional cycle theory tries to raise the nutritional and physiological conditions required for each growth stage to the most proper state through diagnosis and correct study of growth. And of course, here's your reference. So what is this saying? It's you're trying to match the right nutrients and at the right time for maximal growth. Oh, hey, Cheryl and Mark are almost birthday, let's say brothers, but I don't think that's right. Birthday siblings, born on the same day. Let's see if I can pull this over a little bit so I don't have to lean. Okay, that's better. So, nutrient cycle, trying to raise the nutritional and physiological conditions. So recognizing that, at each stage of growth, you're going to have these different things happening and trying to match our nutrients to match that, right? That's basically what nutrient cycle is. And these cycles, it's called that because it repeats. It's not just like it's one time through. Sometimes there's these loops and it repeats. That's why it's a nutritional cycle. It's coming around, it's looping, loops within loops, all those fun things. Yeah, Master Cho's birthday is in 2 days. Yeah. Yeah, happy birthday to Cheryl. Flat XSI. So the gross Gravel. What is that? I don't even know. Hang on a sec. Oh, George is here. Okay. Look at this gross, and then we'll go say what's up to George here for a sec. So gross Gravel, rhythm of nutrient type. Okay. How did this get translated? Gross Gravel. What is it? What does it mean? I don't know. But Master Cho says type 1, then he says type 2, then he says type 2, then he says type 2, right? So all of these under type 1 are then type 2 solutions. They look different to me. So this is why I don't typically use Master Cho's vocabulary when he says type 1, type 2, type changeover, type 4. Yeah, I don't even know if these are type 4. Anyway, he gives these types, but right here in the text, they're all type 2, right? Type 1 and type 2, and it's gross Gravel. So how is this supposed to be translated properly? I just call these things, this nutrient cycle, but basically type 1 nutrient growth. So rich in moisture and nitrate that it will refuses growth or nutrient growth and reproductive growth. Lack in carbon and has low nutrient growth and no flower budding. So type 1, I think, is your soil prep solution. Right? I don't know. I gotta actually compare this to my chart to fully understand this whole chart, but this is why nutrient cycle is one of the most confusing things here. So anyway, let's shift gears here. I'll come back to this. Gotta think about that a bit more, how to translate that, and let's admit George in here and see he's joining. And then, hey, I don't know if you can hear me through the Zoom. I have to unmute myself there. I think maybe you can hear me now. And then I don't know if I can hear you. Hang on one sec. Let me get this configured here so that the Zoom is going here. And then George, are you're on? Is this gonna work? I want it to go out. That's the mic coming in. I think you can hear me through that. The speaker. Oh, same as system. Okay. I don't hear anything coming through to me. Oh, what? It's your birthday, Cheryl. What are you giving gifts? Thank you for the office hour. Having this happen. Okay. I'm not hearing it coming through because it's at 0 here. If I can boost that, it's not working there. Oh no. Oh man. Anyway, trying to fix this while we're live. Thanks guys for your patience here a little bit. See if I can get this to go. My output's there, my zoom's there. You can hear, hey, put your thumbs up if you can hear me through the Zoom. Okay, you can hear me. Okay, I just can't hear what you're sending back to me. So, yeah, it should be sending it to my computer, same as system. It's just saying that this output is 0. Why is it muted? Weird. Maybe they don't let you do this on purpose. Let me just see here, preferences. Oh no. Oh, sorry everybody. Should have figured this out ahead of time on a test call maybe. But we're increasing, right? So let's think about that. Let's see here. I gotta go to my sound. Output here. Input, output. Maybe because it's all controlled up here. Oh well. I don't think we're gonna have any audio coming through here. Because I don't hear George. He's not muted. If I mute him, that's to unmute. Should make you the host. Well, thanks. Let's see here. I will try and get this to go. Looks like he's not. His video is now frozen. So no, he's moving around a little bit. Mute. The computer audio settings. Oh well, it's not wanting to come out through my deal here. Anyway, we can't figure it out. Okay. Okay. Well, I guess next week. Do you have any if you have any pictures you want to share or anything, you can like hold. I mean, we can't hear you. At least I can't hear you. I don't know if you guys can hear them. I certainly can't. If you could, yeah. Um, Tricky computer. Hey, what's up, Cecily? So I can't hear George right now, but if you look at what's behind him, he's in his natural farming lab. Like, look at that. You know, like, um, that's pretty cool. He was sharing pictures of us the other day and doing that. So yeah, you can't hear him as well. I know. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So it is not working that way. You know, I was trying to get Skype together, but yeah, so just look at what he's sharing here. Let's see, can I make this full screen? So he's just sharing around all the stuff he kind of has set up here. And I think those are his microgreens here. Wow. Oh, and he had a time lapse. Oh, and then he has his sprays mixed up. So he has his KNF sprays, his microgreens. Oh man. And the cameras. Oh, it looks like a little webcam observing it. The grow lights and all the solutions underneath. Wow. I'm sure he's explaining this, but it looks awesome. Oh, wow. So this must be an IMO collection box type of thing. Wow. Oh man, I wish. Okay, okay. Well, that's a good preview for next week. We'll get the technical details ironed out, and then get this. You know, I'm really looking forward to yeah, seeing this whole little setup. And Cheryl says, "Nice tour." Yeah, like that's cool. Okay, well, I guess we'll have to get this checked out. You know what's amazing is like here we are, and it's around the world. Let me try. Let me try one more thing here. And hang on one sec. Let me go back to this sharing here, and let me add in a mic here and see. Hang on. What would it be? An audio input capture. Okay, and then let me set this up to Zoom. Oh, did that not come in? Oh. Okay, wait, this one looks like it's Zoom. Is it? No. Zoom audio device. Yeah, no, and then I don't hear you through there, right? No. Okay. So, let's see. No. Okay. Well, anyway, thanks, George. We'll get the audio hooked up next week, and thanks for the preview. I'm sorry I couldn't get this together, but it was really cool to see your place. Cool. Okay, so let's end the meeting for all. Yeah, so yeah, that looked cool, right? To see what he has going on and all the like he has that webcam filming the side by sides of these different things. So I'm looking forward to seeing that, and I'm not sure why why the audio didn't connect there of what exact thing it is. But well, yeah, like a full lab. Reminds me of Young Song's uh, his setup, where if you here, let me see here, one sec. Keep this up. So here on the YouTube, um, actually go into one of these, um, and search for, um, let's see, it's under my channel. I want to just show you because his place reminds me of Young Song's thing. So, where would it be here? It was on one of my trips to Korea. I think maybe, the fruit tree one. Oh, anyway, I should show the Jadam headquarters there. Anyway, oh, so here he can explain a little bit of what he's got going here. Jadam grapes, the lectures, lots of good content here though on my channel. If you haven't checked it out, I mean, you those of you that are regulars have seen this all the time. But let's see here. No, okay. Anyway, I should transition back to this one. dare I try the nutrient cycle recipe book here, or presentation, the gross gravel again. Okay, let's see what George is saying. He's making some short videos on TikTok and Instagram. Oh, awesome. I have to subscribe. And shared some of this information with people that seem to be interested, just showing it for tests, hence the trial with the microgreens. This time I have fresh LAB and I'm trying on peas since the actual growth cycle is longer, so more time for some progress. Okay, cool. Okay, so let's skip this and come back to it here on the nutrient cycle. So we know what it is. Obviously, here's the reference. I think that's in Japanese, might be Chinese, old characters. And then here's these type 1 and then a bunch of type 2. So we could just go through them and see. Basically, I think this is nitrogen, carbon, moisture, and carbon nitrogen ratio. So so these are the nutrient types. So he's basing it on nitrogen and carbon, which is kind of interesting, similar to composting, right? Your CN ratio, here's your CN ratio, right? And moisture, if you're adding a lot or a little bit, what's going to happen should you, and I guess, in the very beginning, he wants a lot of moisture, right? Like much moisture. Then as the plant progresses, type 2, it's average, large side, and then it's little and it's little for these other type 2, for the moisture. So, rich in moisture, nitrate has enough carbon, active nutrient growth, but poor budding. Oh, yeah, well, okay. So maybe this is a symptom of what, but they're all type 2, right? Yeah, you're not fruitful. See, I don't even know if this is describing a characteristic, what it is, or like if you have this, you should apply this, or what the problems are. So welcome to getting confused by Pastor Cho's slides. We could go to exactly where he's physically there explaining these slides and listen to him talk about it. But when everything's called type 2, it's hard to know exactly what he's talking about. And this one has froth, no flower or fruits. So So obviously something's changing here, and he's diagnosing different things for different nutrient types as different things are changing, like a lot of nitrogen, a lot of carbon, and the ratios of those, right? Changing obviously goes from low to high here. So something is changing, you know, here you don't need that much carbon, nitrogen. Maybe this is the beginning, this is towards your end. You do need a lot of compost when things are ripening, like, or composting action. A lot of carbon towards the end. Maybe that'll support your microbes better. I don't know. But these, obviously something's changing here. So we'll respect that and see how we can make this fit in. So that's nutrient cycle, gravel. What was it? Gross gravel. Okay, so, and then nutritional cycle of crop. Okay, so these are your basic 3 stages in your crop. This one's a lot more familiar to me, makes a lot more sense to me. This is basically saying that over here is a seed, over here is harvest, right? So you're going to go from, growing one way linearly in time, right? That's what nutritional cycle of crop. This is the linear progression across. It's not cyclical. This is like straight up one way. This happens to every, like baby, middle-aged, and reproducing. And then here is old age, right? Just like in humans, we go through this cycle of, pretty much 3 distinctive periods in our life: children, adults, and elderly folks, right? So, stage beginning from the happenings of new organs. So apparently this is even in reproduction. You can think of this just like as a baby being reproduced, or a seed sprouting, new organs. So that's, growing the new leaves, the things in the seeds, your organs as a baby. Consuming stage. So the one I'm reading is nutritional growth period, the consumption growth or basic vegetative growth of the plant. So in the beginning, when you're growing kind of the structure, when you're putting out those first leaves that are coming out that are big before they stretch out, right? This is the beginning part. They're putting out these leaves, pushing out this energy. And it consumes a lot of energy, right? Your seed got to consume a lot of energy to push out those first cotyledons. The energy, it takes a lot to put out new leaves before they can even conduct photosynthesis. This is the, consumptional growth period, nutritional growth, this beginning one, right? Consuming stage of carbohydrates, C. So he means carbohydrates by C, not carbon, but carbohydrates is what he means. Turning to organic nitrogen, N, by inorganic nitrogen, small n. So in this initial like pushing out stage, it needs a lot of nitrogen, right? Because a lot of cell division is happening in those leaves. It needs to put out a whole big area of leaves growing. A lot of nitrogen, a lot of cell reproduction. Doesn't need that much P, and not that much K, and not that much calcium. So your NPK, in the beginning, it needs a lot of nitrogenous growth, nitrogen, right? Kind of makes sense. That's why fish amino acid, the fuel's used in the beginning, right? Nutritional growth period. This growing body, flesh, fish, all the fuel growing needs all consumptive growth, right? Need a lot of burn, a lot of energy. Fuel needs a lot in that system. Then you go over into this one, which is the next major stage, which is more when you're starting to reproduce, or as a baby starting to grow. You get floral differentiation, preservation growth, and this is the changeover period, going from consumptive to now switching to preservative growth, right? It's not, your plant's not trying to grow, it's trying to actually preserve and put those into, the preservation of itself, its skeletal, its structure, and floral differentiation. Changing where the energy, instead of growing, it's now going to put this into seeds, right? Through flowers. So build a big flower set. So this is the middle stage of growth. The time between nutritional and reproductive growth is called the changeover period. So it's between nutritional over here, the consumptive, and the accumulative, putting the energy into the fruits. It's this changeover period, this swap. And In this stage, it only needs a little bit of nitrogen, unlike prior, and now it needs a lot of P. So potassium, right? Yeah, K is phosphorus. Average of phosphorus. And calcium is just average, right? So it needs a lot of potassium, right? I think so. So, no, actually, it would make sense. Phosphorus, right? K is potassium. Oh, man. Oh, so funny. That's why I don't like the letters, because it's like they're both phosphorus. Okay, there's phosphorus. Yeah, P is phos. Okay. Yeah, they should have just put F for phosphorus. Oh, anyway. Um, so yeah. No, a bunch of phosphorus. It makes sense. That's why calcium phosphate is used during that time. Why am I thinking? No. Yeah. Anyway. Um. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. K is potassium. Yeah, it makes sense. KOH, potassium hydroxide, right? Yeah. I should remember those. You guys, yeah, you're funny. Like someone the other day was talking about my YouTube, and I was identifying the wrong biology too. Man, I'm just an amateur person trying to interpret this. I haven't gone to college for this type of stuff, man. I did, I actually natural farming unlocked my love of chemistry actually, but using their acronyms, man. That's why I stay away from the acronyms, man. Potassium versus phosphor, potassium, and all this. So, okay. So anyway, tons of phosphate, calcium phosphate during this period, right? And now you are changing over, and then you go into reproductive growth period, cumulative growth, and it's the process arising from flowers to maturing nuts and fruits. So don't forget those maturing nuts in there. But this is, after your fruit, like your changeover period is actually your flowering and up until you get small, tiny fruits, right? As those fruits start to fill and they get seeds, then they start to get like fruit. That's then you're in your reproductive growth. The changeover period is flowering into small, small fruits, small nuts, before then the cumulative period is after that. At this point, it's not consuming carbohydrate by inorganic nitrogen, but stores the carbohydrates in nuts and fruits and other storage organs. So the plant is obviously going to switch, instead of consuming the carbohydrates to grow, is going to take those carbohydrates and instead put them into your seeds and nuts and the fruits itself, right? So in this, that's when it needs a bunch of calcium, right, towards the end, because it needs to convert all that stuff into there, and the calcium helps transport all that from the plant where it's accumulated all this stuff, and then move those carbohydrates into your nuts and fruits and other storage organs. Is the calcium. It drives it over. So this is why KNF reproduction has calcium in it. And that's why, during your reproductive growth period, you can include a little bit more reproduction, and that calcium really helps that happen. But just calling it by the stage it is, reproduction, reproductive growth, here it is. Little bit of nitrogen, always a little bit of fuel, right? Unlike the beginning of the lots, then a little bit of fuel, but average amounts of P and K, and then a lot of calcium there. And that's how you'll get a great crop. So towards the end of fruit juice, that has your can of food that has average amounts of those, more calcium, a little bit of nitrogen, tiny bit of fuel in there, and you're going good on that. So hopefully that one's making sense, because that one's the most straightforward. And then here's Master Cho's main thing. He says the most important time to spray your crop is during the changeover period. So on this case, when you're going again from here, the nutritional growth period, to the reproductive growth period here, this changeover period, this is the most important time to spray. And this is like the pregnancy. This is like that what he will call the morning sickness, which also is a little bit of called yellowing period is another name he called it. And so it says plants have morning sickness when there's floral differentiation, right? These little buds starting to come out, and they're saying, I need additional nutrition when I get pregnant, right? So this is like the plant's getting pregnant, it's going through puberty, and it needs additional nutrition. And it says additional nutrient P. So they want the phosphate on there, the phosphorus. Saying, I want that. And in here, traditional folklore is that sour things are good for morning sickness. So eating limes, lemons, fruits, sweet and sour pork, all these sour things are good for morning sickness. So those have lots of, calcium phosphate. Those have a lot of phosphorus in them. Unripe fruits are sour. And calcium phosphate is good for plants. Morning sickness. And it says ash made from sesame stems or soybean stems is excellent. So there you go. If right there you don't have sesame stems, you use soybean stems, it says it's excellent. That's in the cartoon, so you can't lie with that. And it says, when should they be applied? A week before floral differentiation. So a week is needed for absorption, it says. Although the absorption happens very fast, if you get that additional phosphorus in there a week before floral differentiation, your floral differentiation will be even better, right? It won't have the morning sickness of this stress of these parts of growth coming out of there. And then it says down here, my babies are growing well. So when you do this, it works, right? Yay, look at the happy plant. Yay. And then it says this happens on a leaf crop such as spinach when there are 2 to 3 leaves. So as a lettuce, your differentiation, this is happening in the first, 2 to 3 leaves of a leaf crop, such as spinach, right? Crops with standing core, such as cabbage or radish, standing, lying, when standing again. So, I guess that means, if there's like something in it and it's leaning down, if it stands back up, that's when this is happening. I'm not exactly sure. Maybe someone with more experience with cabbage would know. I've only grown a few cabbages in my life. So here it is, right? Oh, look at that floral differentiation. Oh my gosh. What is that? Pears? Plums? Receive a copy of the slide deck. Maybe. You have to just tune into the office hours. They're all in here. Go by and screenshot them. Copy of a copy of a copy. But look at this flower differentiation. Imagine that was your field of just blowing up. So spraying just before this happens, about a week before that happens, man, it's going to do good. My brassicas lay down when they go to seed, huh? Because they kind of throw up those spikes and tip over, maybe. Maybe it's... Maybe you could interpret this when standing to lying, when standing again. So I don't know if it's going to stand back up, but okay. And then here, going through his nutritional cycle here of raising seedlings of fruit vegetables. This is a 60-day schedule here. So he's putting this here February 10th, which is really, wow, it's only 2 days ago. So this is pretty relevant for today. I'm glad I'm going over this today. Maybe it's God's plan, God was like, hey, why don't you wait your nutritional cycle till today, which is only 2 days off from this schedule. How awesome is that? So, okay, so 2 days ago, you did type 4 solution, which didn't ever happen here. So maybe what we can do is we can assume that back here on this, that this was type 4. We can just change that to be type 4. Because here we are, and we're looking at this type 4, right? And the other one, type 3, and then 3, 2, and then a 2. So, but there was only, I don't know what a 3, 2 is. The 3, 2 is the changeover. And 3 is the vegetative growth. And type 2 is more of the, type 2 is the changeover growth. If you're looking at this here, type 2 is this transitional growth, and type 3 is leaf growth, and type 4 is soil. If you're looking at this, anyway, just to translate some of that stuff, because you'll find that happen again. Okay, so he's saying at the very beginning, 2 days ago, subordinate growth endosperm seedling, right? So we did our seedling soak solution, we did our soil solution out here, then we sowed our seedlings in here. Then looks like, what is that, 5 days later, we did a type 3. Then 10 days later, we did a type 3, type 2. I don't know what solution that is exactly. And then we started to do the changeover. For 1, 2, 3, between there and the end of March, we did 3 more sprays. And then for that 10 days, we do another spray in the middle here. And all the way up. So how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So in your whole 60-day cycle, you spray 12 times. What is 60? 12 is 5, right? 5. Wait. So you're spraying every 5 days is what it comes down to, right? Every 5 days. This is a fruit or vegetable that's in a 60-day cycle. We're going to spray it every 5 days. That's what this is recommending to you, basically right here. Saying between February and April 10th, you're going to spray it every 5 days. And if you change your sprays up and you balance these into these, and you notice this growth is happening where this line comes through, where it gets, it goes from that to this through that transition. Although here it says first changeover period, pruning, building groundwork, creates roots, group. Oh, anyway, this dinner, here you go. Breakfast, lunch, dinner. He's comparing these 3 stages to a breakfast, lunch, and dinner, which I guess you're supposed to eat a lot of eggs and bacon for breakfast, and then lunch, I don't know, a bunch of unripe fruit. Then for dinner, you're supposed to have a balance of pretty much everything with a bunch of bones. Oh, anyway, so here you go. I mean, this is kind of like Master Cho's secrets of this, of just going through these different of going. You can kind of read this. It's what does it say? Ready for transplanting and establishing through a cumulative carbohydrate. So here, I guess you're even transplanting it. So wild. Anyway, there's that, and then I guess I'm not explaining it super well, but here's another one going. Oh, what the heck? Okay, this is a continuation of the same thing. Maybe he what the heck? Okay, anyway, this one now is doing the same thing over again, believe it or not, from 4:15 to 10:20. So this is only 5 days later. This is the same continuation. It gotta be. So it went through one of these whole things for this vegetable 60-day thing. Is that 60 days between there? It gotta be. That's 2 months. And then here, I guess, is the rest of it. So I don't know. This is from 4:15 to 10:20. So this looks like the whole year for something that's much longer growing. I don't know why he's sowing it on the day after that other one, but maybe this is a different plant. Oh, Should listen to him talk about this. So again, I guess he's starting with soil prep, starting April 15th. Maybe this is when you can plant outside in Korea. And this is like his season for outdoor growing. Maybe the other one is indoor growing, greenhouse or something. But it looks like this is outdoors. And you start off with breakfast again, and you're securing the plant bodies, which means, like they say food security. It means like, you're nourishing, making that happen. Securing a flower bud in the middle period. So starting to make it flower here. And then he has menopauses in here. So plants apparently have menopause. I wonder if that's I've heard him talk about that before. I've heard him talk about like menopause and periods, but definitely not my expertise as a dude. And then dinner here, maintaining the vitality before finished harvest. So looking at this, basically going through what this here, it looks like he's doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 sprays over a year, right? So does he spraying? Here he's spraying like right after, like one day he's putting this, the next day he's putting that. Then he's waiting until 5/5, 5/20. So he's only, in a month, he's sprayed 1, 2, 3 times, 3 times a month. So he's spraying every week or so. It looks like for these longer plantings, every week, every 10 to 11 days. Yeah. And again, changing up his sprays, going from type 3 in the beginning, some flower, growth, into type 2 and 2, 3. 2, you would think right here it'd be solid 2s, but this is a longer crop. And then 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3 to finish. So he's finishing out with that fruiting solution, but he's going back and forth through the changeover quite a bit. Or is that, I guess it's the leaf. 2, 3 would be the changeover. 2 would be the leaf. Or no, 3 is, oh man. You think, okay, so it'd go leaf, changeover. It finishes. Oh man, this is why the 2, 3s and all this, I just so confusing on how to do all this. So trying to translate Master Cho's thing, wild, because this doesn't even make sense to me of what he's trying to do here. But I like this where he goes into the reproductive growth period and he says making bank for next year. Like making bank. Not only are you harvesting, selling your crops, you're also restoring your soil bank, your seed bank, everything that, the investments of the farmer, you're making bank at the end of the year, right? And sowing rye, very important. But sowing your cover crop for winter and making bank as you're starting to harvest. And man, explaining nutrient cycle with his charts are just like, it's wild. I made up my own kind of charts to explain this, and these menopause. Oh, there you go. I'm amazing. Well, I'm just trying to explain Master Cho's stuff in a way where you can just see there's these oscillations between plants going through menopause, second renewal of vitality, and then, so anyhow, here, these, this nutritional cycle, and then I'll end it here. This is his thank you, right? Of who knows, maybe you came in more or less confused. I'm not exactly sure. But here he's going to go into water-soluble calcium phosphate next. So let me, in the meantime, pull up this book here and see. So the basic way I explain nutrient cycle here. in his solution. So to go from that where it's like, okay, here's, oh yeah, okay, my book is way easier. So going through these things of basically, so instead of, his thing, he had type 1, type 2, type 3, type 4 solutions, and those numbers, right? And so I've taken that and I've put it into this, where instead what we have is these prescriptions, which are like maintenance formula. So in Master Cho also has like SES and SOS and all these other acronyms and things. But I just took it and made it so you have a maintenance formula, you have a soil formula, a seed formula, a leaf formula, a bloom formula, a fruit formula, and a harvest formula. So obviously in mine, there are more than just 4 or 5 that Master Cho was talking about. But from my distillation of listening to Master Cho, I'm pretty sure these are accurate to what he was trying to describe, of the right nutrients, right time, right amount equals success, which is the nutrient cycle, right? And these are the prescriptions these are like off the shelf prescriptions that if you're trying to make maintenance, you want to maintain your crops using this, you want to maintain soil, use this, seed, leaf, bloom, fruit, harvest, all these things, you want to do these things. It kind of can tune you into like, okay, my plant is about to bloom. What solution should I use? Well, probably the bloom formula here. And my plant is putting on leaf, like it's early, so I want it to vegetate. Well, a leaf formula is one that you could use, right? Oh, my plant is fruiting. What should I use? My fruit formula. Okay. But and then I'm about ready to harvest. I want the best fruits ever. I want the sweetest, juiciest things. Oh, well, harvest formula, just the last few weeks before harvest, right? And then going back to soil, seed. So this is the way I've outlined those same 1, 2, 3, 4, all those things that were just like hard to understand from my perspective of his language, and translated it this way, just of these. These are the 7 formulas, right? Now, these 7 formulas are formulated by combining the 9 core solutions. So the 9 core solutions here all come into these 7 formulas here. So here's the maintenance, here's the 7 formulas. And, but this is just like a prescription, right? I'm just going to make like a prescription, like saying like, this is what you should do usually when you're making soil. But if your soil conditions are different or whatever, you may want to change this as you become an advanced practitioner. But in the beginning, just following this, you'll get really good, and you'll understand why there's food, cleanser, medicine, structure, protectors, and minerals in there. And, maybe why isn't calcium put in and why isn't fuel put in? It's like, there's various reasons for certain things. This is how Master Cho made an original prescription. But if you understand what you're doing with fuel and calcium, maybe there's reasons to add it or subtract it, right, in each of these recipes. So this is taking his nutrient cycle and just saying, okay, these are the general formulas that you'd apply at each time. Like when I want leaves to go, which this is what I want to use here, is this leaf formula. All these things in there help leaves grow. I want it to bloom, I'm going to use this. All these things in here help blooms happen. I want it to fruit, I'm going to use this. This is the fruiting one coming across. This is my, accumulative growth into my fruits. This is what it wants. Right before harvest, this is what it wants, is these things. And this is the way I've taken this, but the one thing to note is that this leaf and fruit are not always, you don't always just apply leaf in the very beginning and fruit at the very end. You actually kind of oscillate between the leaf and the fruit. And if I go back to Master Cho's presentation here, I'll show you that he's actually oscillating back and forth. So 3, either whether it's a leaf or a fruit, it doesn't matter. But these leaf fruits are going back and forth and these transition. This here, this 2-3, I think, is his bloom formula. 3-2, 2-3 thing, and I'm pretty sure the leaf is the fruit. I've it's been so long I even forget from this. It's hard to know, but basically you're oscillating back and forth between leaf and fruit, and it's not just always leaf in the beginning and fruit towards the end. It's you oscillate back and forth. So when I get into the soil foundation here, I put it on this page where, let's see here. So yeah, so here is the thing of where I say seed or soil, seed, leaf, fruit, bloom, bloom, leaf, leaf, harvest, formula, soil formula. So you're kind of alternating between all these. And again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. There's 15 sprays on mine, whereas his had about 12 or 16 sprays per the growing cycle of something. But it's about that. It's about, every 10 days, or in a vegetable every 5 days. Going through and spraying these things. And you'll see it kind of goes through a chubby, skinny. And this is the way I describe it, of growth tips: ripe fruits, ripe flowers, unripe fruits, and then ripe fruits, of how you're changing foods as you go through. And that these just alternate between the sprays you're adding here. And chubby, skinny balance. So this is the way I describe nutrient cycle here. You can look at Master Cho's slides, see those things, but basically, you're kind of going chubby, skinny. A week before you're going to go into this puberty, you're going to spray the bloom, go into the blooming, and then harvest out, and each crop gets specifically this way. He shows some with first and second menopause and all these things. There's a lot to it of understanding nutrient cycle, but this is the way, this is my presentation of how I break down Master Cho's things and what I put on there. And Master Cho 9 core solutions, I really appreciate him and everything he's shared of doing this. And happy birthday to him and Cheryl and and Mark out there and everybody. Yeah, so anyway, I hope this was somewhat helpful for you for nutrient cycle of seeing just, you kind of alternate the sprays. For me, it's been really nice since my class in January. I've been spraying every week, every Wednesday, Tuesday or Wednesday. I've been spraying the farm. It takes me essentially a gallon of, a half gallon of maintenance formula here to spray on my crops. And then I'm also adding in seawater into it. So I'm adding minerals, adding protectors as well. But essentially I'm spraying that plus that out there. And everything's blooming. It's flowering. It's raining finally. It was so dry for how many weeks, and now it's going. So just, encouraging you to, understand this and alternate between these of what you're doing when you really understand what you're doing. And especially if you have like a monocrop of something, you can really tune this nutrient cycle into exactly where your plant's growth is, feed it foods from itself, really tune it in and do that. So, and this is to tie it back into the increase, the more you're doing KNF, the more you're increasing, the more you're making all this happen. So I hope that was helpful for you today, learning nutrient cycle. If you think, cool. Yeah, thanks. Seeing Master Cho's things. One more thing before I go today, I just wanted to share one other bit here that let's see here. I'll try and get it up for next week for the for the chat and all that. And hopefully we'll be able to get George on. And if you want to chat, let me know. Let me just search this new. I was looking for this nutrient site. Oh, anyway, I was gonna look for the nutrient cycle stuff from Master Cho, but I don't have it here, but I'll pull that up next time and kind of finish out our nutrient cycle. Is chubby skinny a concept, or can you see it on the plants? It's actually you can see it in the plants. So when the plant is putting out a cumulative growth, it's that chubby phase, right? I'm putting out these leaves. In the skinny phases, the plant will go from this chubby, and the plant will stretch out and put those leaves out, and it'll stretch, right? And so if you start to watch your plant, you'll notice this chubby, skinny phase. Right, and you'll see it like things will kind of grow. They'll put that kind of leaf growth, and then it will stretch out growth, and that's the chubby skinny phase that I'm talking about. And the KNF map coming soon. Yeah, we're actually meeting and working on it. So the foundation, hopefully we get that out shortly. I can't make any promises, but we have a committee working on it, and we just are actually got some funding, so working on getting that map out. So yeah, because I'd love to link people up, and if you're in the Los Angeles area, reach out to LF. My Aunt Beth is on here. She's in LA. She lives in right near Santa Monica Boulevard, near there. Anyway, she's in that neighborhood. Well, I know it's a long ass street, but near, I don't know, not too far from the beach, man. So cool. All right. Well, yeah. Anyway, I was gonna show you the nutrient cycle, but last thing is to just thank Pure KNF Foundation sponsoring these things, doing all their good stuff. Master Cho here, couldn't do this without him. And want to thank you guys all for tuning in. Have a great week. See you next week. And as always, long live the natural farmer. Aloha. And let's switch to this other screen. I'll see you later.